seat because he is the son of the king. He won't have any role. So these are the first members of the royal family now entering the church, and the next ones will be the more senior ones. So the Waleses will be arriving soon as well. I think in 5 minutes they'll be arriving, so that's going to be a big moment. But Harry, you know, this is what he used to do all the time. He only comes back occasionally. Meghan is at home, I'm sure, watching us here, Anderson, because it's their son Archie's birthday today, so she wanted to stay home. But this is a big moment for him and for the nation, because this family rift has gripped the nation and it's upset a lot of people. And I think a lot of people will look at Harry thinking, thank you for coming and showing your support for our king.
About 350 million are expected to be watching this around the world. And when you consider that back in 1953, it was like 27 million people here in the UK were watching it.
It is remarkable. The last time we saw Harry here was for his mother's funeral.
Absolutely, and I think we've got who we've got here. Harry, this is Princess Anne. She rode to the church. She'll be riding behind the carriage on the way back as well. We've got Prince Edward here as well. He's had an elevated role since Prince Harry has left his working role. He's been given a much higher position. So the people you're seeing now, they're getting more and more senior as we go through.
And we saw Princess Anne playing such a large role during her mother's funeral.
And as Max says, she will be the person who's been given the royal honor of riding behind Prince Charles as he comes out in the carriageway. So she'll be leading that sort of guard of honor, if you like. And it's pretty good, you know, she's a woman, she's doing this. Obviously her mother was an incredibly accomplished equestrian. She is actually an Olympic level equestrian, and she has become what the people here believe to be the most popular of the royal family, practically, and the most hardworking. So she had a funny little aside when she was interviewed, and all the Brits want to know, you know, what about a slimmed down monarch? And she says, hold on, slim down means I'm going to have to do even more work.
Edward and Sophie, now the Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh, taking Prince Philip's titles. Prince Philip very much reflected in the service today. There'll be music from the Greek Orthodox Church, so he's being reflected today, as is Queen Elizabeth.
And we said Prince Harry has no official role today, meaning he has no part in the actual
Prince George, for example, is part of the procession, so he has a role, and people carrying the crown jewels have a role.
Tony Blair. There's Prime Minister Tony Blair. The other former Prime Ministers, Gordon Brown behind him.
This was from earlier on, I think, and these are the new pictures again, yeah. Young people very much reflected today. The first person that Charles will meet and be greeted by will be a child, and that's very much on purpose to try to bring younger people into this crowning moment.
Is there a member of the choir, or is that?
Yes. Yeah. And a lot of people are very upset they're not invited. Lots of members of Parliament aren't invited. Lots of peers aren't invited.
Not invited just because it's a slim-down ceremony?
No, because he wants to reflect British society. He doesn't want it to be an exclusive event and just for the aristocracy, which is why he had this homage, which Chris Jarl was talking about, trying to invite the public in to pay their respects, which didn't work terribly well. So the Cambridges are about to arrive. The Waleses, as they're known now. And this is coming down the political section outside Downing Street. This is the Cenotaph, which is the main memorial, really, for the veterans in the United Kingdom.
Exactly. This is where every year on in November, the anniversary of the wars, the monarch and all the military, all the political figures in government and in opposition come to pay their respects to the war dead of all the wars that have been fought. And I think this is why this site is so important, that this once was a huge military power that, yes, created the biggest empire known to humankind. As they say, the sun never set on the British Empire, but things have changed a lot. And they've changed even more since Brexit, because Britain does not punch as high above its weight as it used to do. But this is such an important reminder of the history of this country and what it used to do.
The streetliners there, the military along the road, all 5 paces apart exactly, all the way along the route.
And you see there's not only members of the British military who are facing toward King Charles as he passes by, but British police officers who are facing away, facing into the crowd, obviously for security reasons. Sally Bedell-Smith is also with us. Sally, what are your thoughts on seeing this incredible procession?
Well, it is only Britain can do this. I don't think anybody else in the world is capable of this. And, it is obviously a magnificent show of military prowess and the glamour of the coach. But I mean, it's much more stripped down than it was, say, when the last king and queen were crowned in 1937. And the king and queen, George VI and Elizabeth, had to wait for 2 hours in Buckingham Palace for the entire procession to pass. And that included limousines as well as many carriages. And here we have one carriage and we have a large military presence, but it is a reflection of how things have changed in the last 86 years. Obviously the king and queen are front and center, but and they're being accorded all the honor of a considerable military presence. But it is not what it was in 1937 or even what it was in 1953 when the Mall was covered with arches, and it was very more, if you can believe it, it was a more extravagant looking exercise than it is today.
Yeah. And as Max Foster was saying, there's some 200 members of the military in this procession, but on the way back, it's going to be about 4,000. They have been arriving by train, most of them from all over, very early this morning, late last night.
They've been practicing in 2 airfields to the southwest of London. They've been rehearsing all